I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliet.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself, or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm not Juliet.
And I'm not Theo. And this is Apologies Accepted. Welcome, everyone.
We are in unison.
Today, yeah, we did.
Sorry, I always do
Perfect
that.
intro. Today we have some interesting things to talk about. We're talking about fascism, basically. Fascism in America, how it has shown its ugly face this past week. Right as we record, it is Sunday the 10th of January, and we're going to be putting this out tomorrow, Monday the 11th. The events that we'll be discussing happened on the 6th, Wednesday. Theo, how are you feeling? This is the first time this has happened, not only in our lifetime, but perhaps in our history.
It is the first time this has happened in our history.
Yes.
I mean, so it's a yes and a no for the first time this has ever happened in our history, because obviously during the Civil War, yeah, there was a whole thing about, we don't like the president that's been elected, meaning Lincoln, and so we're going to break away, and the vote was fraud, and history is repeating itself, and I don't have anything to say after that, because history is just repeating itself. It's sort of like, grab the popcorn, sit back, kids, because it's just going to get uglier from here, unless it gets better soon.
That way. It could get better sooner or get a lot worse. I was working, of course, on Wednesday when this all started to happen, and I knew something was going to happen, but it was in the back of my mind, and I was thinking about work. And then I heard somehow, probably on Twitter, that this was going down at about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I think I heard about 11. And I started reading Twitter and didn't pay attention to what I was doing, and then I canceled the rest of my meetings because I was just so... I wouldn't say shocked. What's the word? What's the right word for shocked?
Yeah, because
I was appalled.
Appalled, shocked. This tracks for me very closely to September 11th, not in terms of the emotional impact and reaction that I had. September 11th is a completely different experience, but just the complete and utter disbelief.
Right.
The disbelief.
That this could happen, that these people could get into the Capitol. Unbelievable. And the policemen just standing there. Like, what the fuck is going on was really what I was thinking. And I remember 9/11, watching 9/11, thinking how horrible it was that all those people were going to die. That was the primary feeling I had about that at the time. And wondering what was going on, of course, was one thing. But just feeling that compassion or whatever for the people who were dying and their families was what really made me cry at the time. And I didn't cry watching on the 6th, although I felt like it more than I really usually ever do. But my thoughts were, how the hell is this happening? Where are the police? What's going on?
Right, because we know that the police are fully capable of dispersing a crowd in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
They've done it their whole fucking infrastructure in D.C. is built to disperse crowds. I mean, not really, but yes, it is.
If you're liberal, and they're going to come after you.
There's never been a fucking protest in D.C. before? Come on.
Yeah,
I mean, we've had, how many million man, million mom marches have there been through? How many millions of people have marched through in groups?
And it's not that they didn't know about January 6th, because they absolutely did know about January 6th. I fucking knew about
January 6th.
I know, exactly. If we knew, they knew. There's no question about it.
I'm a fucking moron, and I knew.
Just a few minutes ago, I was reading something saying that the president was talking to particular rioters on the phone. And I don't know if that's true or if that's a rumor, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I know that one guy, the guy with the horns, was saying that he was there at the request of the president, and whether he meant that, as in the president spoke to him personally, or the president said, "Come on, let's go." I don't know, but I think we'll find out that there was more direct involvement with the president than we perhaps thought in the
There's
beginning.
way more direct involvement happening here than we're aware of at this point, and it's pretty clear that there were some inside players within the Capitol Police Department. I've seen video clips that are clearly authentic, not doctored, not deep fake, because
police taking selfies with the rioters.
of course,
Yeah,
Jesus,
all kinds of things.
I don't even know where to start, right? January 6th happens to be my sister's birthday. And so,
Pam. Happy birthday, Pam.
yeah, happy birthday. Thanks for trying to destroy America by having this event happen on your birthday. So I was out at her house dropping off gifts and surprising her, right? Because she's quarantined, she's locked in, boring, it's her birthday, blah. Oh, hi, happy birthday. Here's some things for you. She lives about an hour and a half away, so we drove out. So it was
That's
a
nice.
biggish deal, and I'm super nice. And I had to just throw this in here to illustrate how great a brother I am.
Yes, you are. You're such a good brother.
I am super great. And driving back home, I was going to stop at the outlet, making this a long story. But what I'm saying is I'm having a normal day, and I'm in my car, and I'm listening to the radio, to the news, and things are unfolding. And I get to the outlet sort of as things are unfolding in D.C., and I was like, I should really stay here and find out what's happening, but I need some bargains, so I'm going to go shopping. But the whole time I was like glued to my AirPods and got into my car as things started to heat up, and the radio just really wasn't conveying the news in a way that I needed to. I needed to see what was happening.
Yeah.
Right. And when I got home, the television just made it so much worse. It was worse than anything I was envisioning.
Yeah, and we didn't even see the worst of it at the time. Like now you're seeing some additional things that went on that we really didn't have insight into. So I'm really bummed today. I'm really down. I'm down more than I was because it gets worse and worse, and probably will get even worse, as people on Twitter keep saying. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But people with experience with this sort of thing seem to think that it's not going to just blow over.
No, and it shouldn't blow over, right? This is when your boyfriend cheats on you, and you find out he's been having an affair, and he confesses and wants to forget all about it, right? This is.
And you just have to kill him then.
That's the only answer.
That's the only way to end it.
Yeah.
You just got to kill him and anybody who was involved.
It's just not the thing you gloss over and wish away, because if you do, it will happen again. He's going. I'm sorry to make this about relationships.
And it'll be worse.
Right. It's gonna,
you're totally right. And now he's learned what not to do, so he'll find a better way to do it next time. He'll get sneakier. He'll get smarter. He'll do whatever it is he needs to do to get away with it the next time, which is going to make it all that much worse.
He will be the Josh Hawley of boyfriends. Because that's Donald Trump Jr. There is a Donald Trump Jr., but what I mean to say is Josh Hawley is the digestible Donald Trump. He's attractive, he's smart, he's well-educated, he's well-spoken, and ambitious as fuck, and doesn't give a shit.
We have to nip him in the bud.
I'm glad that he will be so nipped so soon.
I just read a few minutes ago, before we started the show, an article that someone, and I'm sorry I forgot who, was saying, someone who would know, was saying that it's possible that the impeachment will be postponed until 100 days, after the first 100 days of Biden's administration, because they don't want his business to be distracted by the impeachment. And how can they think anything that Biden's going to be doing in his first 100 days is more important than this? This is the future of America.
First 100 days. Whether
it's got to be. I mean, sure, COVID is important. Assign someone to deal with COVID, right?
Listen, if Americans die for democracy every time we have a war, right? That's we have to go to war, democracy, right? So COVID can kind of wait. Or we
Yeah.
can do two things at the same time because we're all smart people. You can chew gum and walk.
Right.
I hate that analogy, but
Right.
it plays.
I mean, we've got money, right? It's not that we don't have enough money to outsource COVID
Of
to
course.
some smart people who know what they're doing. It doesn't have to be Joe Biden directly responsible for everything that goes on in COVID land.
Our democracy is as important as saving lives.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't see a need to delay. I understand that. So here's what makes America, because I know you don't know this, America different from
No
other
idea.
countries, right? And that is we don't prosecute our political opponents for having been political opponents. The sort of thing
Right.
that happens in, and I mean, I'll just name a region, right? Like South America all the time. Dictator
Sure.
comes to power, previous dictator is executed.
Yeah.
You betrayed the people and you're killed and all of your generals are also going to be killed. I mean, and then the new party is there for a while until they are replaced and killed by another party, or thrown in jail, right? Hi, Russia,
Yeah.
we're looking at you. So
Thrown out a window.
America's very careful not to give that
Yeah.
perception. And
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why Ford pardoned Nixon. I mean, yes and no. Let me take that back. That's not part of the reason why he pardoned Nixon, because he was the VP.
I don't
and they
know
were the
why you
same company.
pardoned Nixon.
Heal the country, bring the country together, and
I disagree with that. I mean, Nixon was a different story, but Nixon was bad, but not this bad. And I think you've got to we're in agreement here. You've got to address this issue immediately. Immediately meaning now, not Monday. Now. And what are we waiting for? What are we sitting around blithering about? It's ridiculous.
well, it's the weekend right now, and like we got to hang out and watch TV and party. But on Monday, we're going to get down to
yeah,
business.
first thing Monday, we'll get to it.
Why Congress isn't in session right now?
Appalling, unbelievable.
Why there aren't
Unless they're
public
afraid to be in
hearings being
session.
called for?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I can't, because
I don't know.
it's a branch of the United States government. It's not like, oh, we broke into a senator's office in Wisconsin or we
Right.
broke into the
Even Kamala Harris's house. I mean, anything like that. It's one
right,
thing.
this is fucking Congress
Capitol
and the
is
Senate.
just absurd. And he's been telegraphing this, like I just said before. He's been telegraphing this for so long, and he said this was going to be wild and all sorts of things. There's no excuse for the police to have. I understand only 500 of the 2,000 police officers were there, and the National Guard was forbidden to go and help out until rather late in the day, and that's got to be
Intentionally held back.
Intentionally held back. Yeah, those folks have got to be. They've got to pay too.
I'm sorry, Mike Pence, but if my boss put me in a situation where I was in some jeopardy and then
Yeah.
stoked the fire by
Oh, yeah.
tweeting out to the people that are looking for me that I'm a bad person, I mean,
Yeah.
fuck you, boss.
Yeah, yeah.
25th Amendment? Yeah, hi.
And he went back into the White House. He went back into the West Wing and was talking to Trump for some time. And I never heard what that was about.
Oh.
And that was late in the day.
So I hadn't heard that, but I know that they've not spoken since.
Good. I mean, he shouldn't speak to him.
I know the New York
head on a
Times reported in another story that they haven't spoken since. So I know that from the New York
Okay.
Times. Mike Pence quit calling me after the election when he found out I voted for Biden. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. So we're both frustrated, anxious, disappointed,
I mean,
angry.
We're everything everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows where we're going to go with this discussion? I mean, on one hand, yes, I do know, but then on the other hand, our anger and our frustration, these Nazis would say, we're angry and frustrated too.
Well,
I mean, not so much devil's advocate, but and by the way, I mean, just delete all of this because it sounds like I am supporting the Nazis, and clearly not. But All right, so let's see where we go. I hear some rhetoric on the left, which I'm a part of. I founded Antifa. That I'm also hearing on the right.
I just want to say that the difference between being angry and frustrated on one side and on the other is that one side is being angry and frustrated and trying to work it out within the law, and the other side is trying to take over the government.
Do you like how I set that up for you?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh
So
my God, that's
that.
so true. 100%.
100%. And so let's talk about some people that have been involved in this, and people that are trying. So one person that tried to figure out the best way to deal with the problem as she saw it was Erica Newland, who had actually been a clerk for Merrick Garland, interestingly. And she joined the Department of Justice under President Obama as an attorney advisor at the Office of Legal Counsel. And on December 20th of last year, 2020, she wrote an op-ed for the New York Times in which she offered an apology for not taking a stronger stance against President Trump. So what she said was, her apology consists largely of, I was an attorney at the Justice Department when Donald Trump was elected president. I worked in the Office of Legal Counsel, which is where presidents turn for permission slips that say their executive orders and other contemplated actions are lawful. I never harbored delusions about a Trump presidency. Mr. Trump readily volunteered that his agenda was to disassemble our democracy, but I made a choice to stay at the Justice Department, home to some of the country's finest lawyers, for as long as I could bear it. I believed that I could better serve our country by pushing back from within than by keeping my hands clean. But I have come to reconsider that decision. We owe the country our honesty about that and about what we saw. We owe apologies. I offer mine here. Now, she works against the Trump administration as counsel for Protect Democracy, which is an organization that was created in 2017 to prevent American democracy from declining into a more authoritarian form of government. Now, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, this is a tough apology. So, looking at the apology itself, she accepts the consequences of her actions. She says she's sorry, and she left the Justice Department, and now she works directly against Trump. But did she really join the Justice Department to work against Trump from the inside, or was it a great opportunity that she justified by saying that's what she would do and later regretted? Does it matter? I'm not sure. But furthermore, accepting an apology means forgiving someone.
I mean,
right?
Okay, so great question. I don't know if accepting an apology, yes, I suppose it does. It does mean.
It has to, or what does it mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I do have this group of apologies. It's sort of like, I accept the apology, but with reservations. And so you're right.
Yeah.
Within that, there's not full forgiveness.
So I think you can acknowledge someone's regret without accepting their apology. So I can be sorry I slept with your husband, not your husband in general, and you can acknowledge my regret. And you can acknowledge my regret without accepting my apology or forgiving me. So, you can be like, yeah, I see that you're really sorry about having done that thing that you did, but I don't accept your apology and I don't forgive you.
Yeah, and fair enough. I like that analogy.
Okay.
Okay, so for this one, it's easy for me. I accepted her apology. It makes complete sense to me. And I did a teeny bit of background digging on Erica.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I was curious. Because
sure,
I
what kind of person is
put
this?
myself in her shoes, where oh wow, I took a job with the Obama administration, but this is kind of my career. I want to be a career politician, air quotes around that, right? I want to work in D.C. for the rest of my life. I'll be working for Democrats and Republicans for years to come. Cool.
Yeah.
So, and so not only could I see doing that, but I could also see working somewhere where I don't like what's happening and I disagree. I worked at Disney in the marketing department for 3 years. Like, there was a lot about Disney culture I completely disagreed with.
Really?
Wonderful as the people were. But yes, and we can table that. And not so much that I was like, oh, I'm doing such good from within. It was a paycheck. And I mean, Disney's very different from the Trump Republican Party. But still, I could see doing that, and I could also see sort of the mind fuck that you have to do to stay working for the Trump administration, right?
Yeah.
I am here battling evil. I'm going to sit on this memo for 2 weeks longer than I need to, so we miss some deadline. It gets sort of sabotage from within. And so I had no problem accepting her apology, especially.
I just don't know how much sabotage from within you can do as an attorney. I mean, you've got deadlines, you've got things you have to do.
And she's not sabotaging from within either. I mean, I'm throwing those words out there.
You can't be. I mean, you got to do your job.
Right. And she wasn't.
Even if you don't like your job and you try to make it less easy for Trump to do some things than other things, I think as a whole, you're going to fail. And she, I think, saw that and quit. So she probably had the best of intentions for herself and for the country, but realized that she couldn't accomplish her goals while working for the Trump administration.
Right. I think she couldn't live with herself anymore for what she was doing, and sort of like to make this easier for my brain. So what she's doing is, we want to ban all Muslims from coming into America. So I'm going to do this executive order because Office of Legal Counsel, as you mentioned, looks at executive orders that the president wants to issue, and then they determine, can we get away with this? How legal is this?
Yeah.
What do we need to do to make it more legal, right? And so she may have very well been one of those people that said, okay, great, we can't ban all Muslims legally, but what you could do is banned from 7 countries, right? Or if he had a list of 15 countries, she gets it down to 7. So she's trying to create situations where the least amount of harm will happen. But I understand her point and your point.
Here we are. Let's look at Erica Newland. Are we going to accept or condemn her apology? In 3, 2, 1.
Accept.
Condemn.
Okay, good. I like it when we're divided.
I said condemn. Okay, good. We'll talk about why later, I think, in the episode.
For me, I see real regret, and I see that she's doing work to sort of counteract the damage that she says she did. And also, she's an attorney, and I'm just always going to forgive an attorney because I don't want them to sue me.
All right, fair enough.
There you go. I played my hand.
The next person we're going to talk about here in our Fascism on Parade episode is the freshman member of the House of Representatives, Mary Miller, who's a Republican, surprise, from Illinois. She was just elected in November, and she apologized on Friday after gaining national attention on Tuesday the 5th for saying Hitler was right on one thing at a pro-Trump rally for Moms for America. At the rally, she said, each generation has the responsibility to teach the next generation. You know, if we win a few elections, we're still going to be losing unless we win the hearts of our children. It's the battle. Hitler was right on one thing, that whoever has the youth has the future. Our children are being propagandized. In the apology, Miller, in office less than a week, accused critics of trying to intentionally twist my words. She said, I sincerely apologize for any harm my words caused and regret using a reference to one of the most evil dictators in history to illustrate the dangers that outside influences can have on our youth. While some are trying to intentionally twist my words into something antithetical to my beliefs, let me be clear. I am passionately pro-Israel, and I will always be a strong advocate and ally of the Jewish community.
Right, because we'll just stop right there. You can easily be pro-Israel and anti-Semitic.
Absolutely.
And there are many, many, many Christians who have a belief that Israel's got to blow up or something in order for Jesus to come back and rescue everybody.
Well, all the Jews have to go back to Israel in order for Jesus to come back. So I don't know if they're going to blow up or what, but they're all going to be in Israel when Jesus returns. So in order for that to happen, they need to be an ally of Israel. So it's disgusting, if you ask me.
I mean, and really, I shouldn't be looking for logic within that sort of a mindset. So let's say this. I do a lot of writing for a lot of different companies, and Hitler never comes up. But I'm often trying to appeal to the youth.
Happens.
Yeah. I write a lot of stuff for Gen Z and millennials, and somehow I'm able not to reference Hitler in any of it.
She apologized, but I don't think she resigned, did she?
No, she's not going to resign. She's from a very Republican district. It's probably the most Republican district in Illinois, according to what I saw on Google for the 15th district. And just kind of giving her bio, she's 61 years old. So, I don't want to be ageist, but I'm just going to say that that's of a particular generation and a particular mindset. She's a mother of 7.
That's not very different from our generation, Theo.
It's very different from our generation. It's very, very, very. And I'm not saying that there aren't like
I mean, those are
liberal
like the hippies.
61-year-olds out there. Of course, there's a bunch of old hippies knocking around, and I get that. But this is a 61-year-old grandmother from Middle America. Odds are that she's not going to be a lot of things that I am.
True. She's not. Clearly, she's not. So her using Hitler's words was A, unnecessary. B, it has to have been chosen for a reason. It absolutely has to have been chosen for a reason. You don't just casually throw around Hitler.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm very careful not to mention Hitler in discussions because there's no need to.
It doesn't make sense. It's hurtful and it doesn't make sense. So yeah. So should we do accept or condemn for Mary Miller?
Oh, I mean, sure, yeah.
Okay, 3,
2, 1. Condemn.
Condemn. All right.
Yeah, sorry, Mary.
You're
And
gonna fry in hell.
I would like to also say for what was the group? It's the Moms of America that she was speaking
Moms for
to.
America. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they defended her on Facebook, of course, while Congresswoman Miller's statement is being taken out of context and used as a weapon against her. We know the real issue has nothing to do with Hitler, but the fact that she is a woman of courage who speaks truth in a time of universal deceit. So I would just like to do a real quick fuck you guys to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happens a couple of days later?
Well, on the 2nd of January, Trump tweeted, "It's statistically impossible to have lost the 2020 election. Big protest in D.C. on January 6th. Be there. Will be wild." And the Washington Post then reported that the district had mobilized the National Guard and will have every city police officer on duty to handle protests of the November presidential election, which Mayor Muriel E. Bowser said may include people looking to instigate violence. And then on the 6th, a mob storming the U.S. Capitol disrupted the constitutional duty of counting electoral college votes and prompted the evacuations of representatives, senators, and Vice President Mike Pence. It seems now that at least some of the insurrectionists were prepared to kidnap and possibly kill. One woman was fatally shot by police while trying to climb into the chambers. 3 others died from medical emergencies. 1 police officer died of injuries sustained during the riot, and 50 more police officers were injured. And I just heard this morning that another police officer has committed suicide.
Holy God, you're kidding.
Yeah. So apparently morale is really low, as it freaking should be. But I'm sorry he killed himself. That he probably felt bad about something that was outside of his control.
Oh gosh, that's even beyond horrific. Yeah. I had zero idea about that.
Yeah, our sympathies to his family. So this mob, we know a few things about some of the members of the mob. One of the ones that Theo and I have been talking about is Brad Ruxdales from Illinois. He's the CEO of the data analytics company Cogentia, and he donated almost $30,000 to Republican causes since October of 2019, so just in the last year or so. He was arrested in Washington for his role in storming the Capitol on the 6th. He was arrested on the 6th and was back home in Chicago the next day, deleting his social media accounts and presumably looking for a lawyer. He claims that he didn't go to be violent. He said, "It was great to see a whole bunch of people together in the morning and hear the speeches, but it turned into chaos," he said, having participated in that chaos. So as far as his company goes, he was the president and CEO of Cogencia, but as of January 8th, he was out of a job. The board of directors terminated him effective immediately after deciding that his actions at the Capitol were inconsistent with the core values of Cogencia. So probably around that time, or maybe beforehand, hoping to stave off his firing, I'm just speculating here, Brad Rooksdale's put out his apology. He said, "In a moment of extremely poor judgment following the January 6th rally in Washington, I followed hundreds of others through an open set of doors to the Capitol building to see what was taking place inside. I was arrested for the first time in my life and charged with unlawful entry. My decision to enter the Capitol was wrong, and I am deeply regretful to have done so. Without qualification and as a peaceful and law-abiding citizen, I condemn the violence and destruction that took place in Washington. I offer my sincere apologies for my indiscretion, and I deeply regret that my actions have brought embarrassment to my family, colleagues, friends, and fellow countrymen. It was the single worst personal decision of my life. I have no excuse for my actions and wish that I could take them back." He faces 3 federal charges stemming from the incident, including violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. Now, he talks like he just happened to be there, that he didn't fly from Chicago to be there on the 6th for this event. He just happened to be there, saw some people walking into a building, and was like, "Hey, what's going on in there? Let's check it out."
All of these people, when pressed, I think with the exception of one guy, are like, "Oh my God, I had no idea what was happening. I was just there and I got swept up in the moment. I got caught up in the moment." And I've been to many protests not rallies, but I've been to many protests. So I was a member of ACT UP and Queer Nation in the 80s and 90s when we were marching for gay rights, right? And not so much that I was followed by the FBI because they weren't there for me. They were there to monitor a protest and a march. And so, like, shit gets real, right? But and maybe this is the difference between marching with an organization and marching with a mob. An organization tells you, here's what you don't do, everybody. Don't break any fucking windows. Don't engage with X, Y, or Z, right? You're there to be peaceful. If something happens, the best thing for you to do is hit the ground. Just lay down.
And they tell you that. And as you know, they tell you what not to do, and you don't do it, and they still fucking arrest you. They still stand on the back of your neck. And these people are doing all those things that organizations will tell protesters not to do, and absolutely nothing fucking happened to these people. This is where I'm mad.
Same here. I don't understand why more people aren't in jail. I sort of get why there weren't more arrests the day of. I mean, I don't, but then I sort of do, right? There wasn't enough manpower at the Capitol, police manpower, to arrest people. Also, I don't know. I heard some bullshit about like, oh, we don't want to make any martyrs today, so we're not going to be really aggressive with these people.
So we'll just let them go. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Ridiculous.
And of course, it's white privilege in all of its beautiful glory. And so I see that. But I just don't understand why these people aren't in jail.
Because they're straight white males.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to sort of know that happens and it's a whole other thing just to see it. It's so in your face, so obvious. And not just one guy. Blatant. Dozens of fucking guys.
Everybody.
Somebody stole mail from Nancy Pelosi's office.
I know. They stole a podium. They walked out with a podium and put it in their car.
Give you. That is cool. And stealing a podium, that's fine. Stealing a piece of mail, you're supposed to go to jail for that bullshit.
I think they stole her laptop.
Well, I sure hope not.
I think so. I'm pretty sure some people's laptops were stolen. So they better fucking find out who's got those laptops. But and who knows who is in that mob? Why
isn't there a fucking GPS tracker on the laptop? Why isn't there some sort of a microchip somewhere that just like we're going to go all over the place with this because
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we're with the mob and we're in the Capitol and
it's going crazy.
It's going crazy. And some very innocent, nice white people just happened to also be in the mob and got swept up with, that was kind of the point I was going to say about like, I've been to these protests and whatever. You do get caught up. There is a wave of emotion that like sweeps you along, right? And I can totally see, because I love to put myself in other people's shoes. But a lot of shoe stuff this podcast and last podcast. I don't know why. So I could see, all right, I'm at a protest in D.C. and we're protesting whatever gay thing might have been, and we're really pissed off, and somebody ran into the Capitol, and maybe I'm going to let 500 other people run into the Capitol before I do, right? But I don't, this is like me now all of a sudden. I just am so afraid of getting into trouble that regardless of how self-righteous or even how righteous my cause might be, I just don't know that I would do. I'm not saying I haven't ever broken a law. Jesus Christ, just take the spotlight off of me. I'm sorry.
I mean, let's ask this question though. If Trump had won the election and was doing all kinds of crazy shit now, like he is now, would you storm the Capitol?
I would not storm the Capitol, and here's why. Because there are innocent people. So when you say storm the Capitol, I'm envisioning having a gun and what do they call
like
those plastic tie clips? No, but I would go and I would shout and scream and shake my fist, and I would donate money, and I would vote, and I would say very bad words to Trump. Sure, I would do all of that. But would I break it? Now, okay, but then you've got to take this another step, right? And so that is, it's not Trump. It's got to be something like, I know that a group of Nazis is in the Capitol building, and they are getting ready to deploy and implement a plan, not even a plan, like they're getting ready to just push this button and people are going to get rounded up. Would I then storm the Capitol to prevent mass murder? Like, would I? It's an old time travel thing of like, if you could time travel back and kill Hitler as a baby, would you? Because it would mean you'd have to kill a baby, right?
Right.
And
I'd love to kill babies.
I mean,
I'm ready.
There's anything I say is going to sound awful. So I'll let you take that. Okay, baby killing.
If I had the opportunity to go back and kill baby Hitler, I would absolutely positively do it. I understand there are many arguments for other ways to like kidnap baby Hitler and raise him differently. Okay, maybe I'll try that.
That's really a good one, because I never do that. It's always like you have to kill the baby. But okay, so this is where we sort of need to be in order to have the discussion. It is these people who stormed the Capitol truly believed that something nefarious had happened. Now, there were all sorts of different beliefs, right? The vote was stolen. There's satanic members of Congress. Q told them
everywhere.
Whatever the bullshit, right? They believe it in the same way that if it had been a group of Nazis who were getting ready to have, mass murder day, or if it was the beginning of Kristallnacht, right? Then I'm probably storming the Capitol.
Did you see Arnold Schwarzenegger's speech?
I did, which is what reminded me of Kristallnacht. And
I thought maybe it was.
I cried a couple of times. Yeah. And I just got to say, when Arnold Schwarzenegger's not on your side, guys, you're wrong.
Rethink it.
Sorry, you need to sit down and say, why is Arnie against me?
But I don't know why he doesn't want me to learn how to make swords.
Because there can be only one. And I know that's a different movie, but I mean, whatever. It's still sci-fi.
Okay.
So,
All right, so where were we?
well,
We
we're
were
trying
talking
to get
about
into the head of the
killing baby
rioters,
Hitler.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's not. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, we love Donald Trump so much, but a big part of it is, oh my gosh, we hate the other side so much. We're gonna break into
Yes.
Nancy Pelosi's office and leave a note on her desk calling her, a bitch. And
Yeah.
I mean, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah,
That
they are.
I yes, and that's the sad thing too. It's like, wow, not only are there a lot of racist people in this country, there are a lot of fucking stupid people.
I think they're seeing their what they consider their way of life and their values and everything that means something to them. It's threatened by the Democrats, which is ridiculous.
But how is it threatened? Oh my God, we want everybody to make more money?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everybody should have food? Everyone should have access to health care? Health care is a
That's
human right?
communist. That's communist. And you know what comes along with communism is all the bad stuff.
Like, what's the bad stuff?
The
The vodka? Because it's not good vodka, I'm just going to say.
the lack of individualism and the
Oh, right, because this mob of people are so individuals or so individualistic.
I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump at you like that. You were
That's
saying
okay.
that.
It's okay. That's okay. That was the only thing I could think of at the moment. But I should have studied up on communism.
Communism's bad because in the 1950s, communism was bad, right? That was the other, and the other was bad. And then we started to have this
Yes.
cultural shift where we started to have teenagers talking back to their parents and, the birth of the 60s and free love and all that. So, yeah, I mean,
Well, communism turned out badly for Russia, and now in some people's minds, that's all that communism or socialism can ever be.
but isn't it doing great for China?
Not so good.
No?
I wouldn't think. No.
Aren't they like the world's leading economy now? Or
They might be the world's leading economy, but they're not a very good place to live.
I mean, maybe
They're extremely oppressive.
well, I mean, yeah, of course, right? But then if you follow the rules, there's a lot of freedom. Oh my God, I'm arguing for communism.
Well, you're arguing for oppression. If you follow the rules, you'll be
I
fine.
am. Oh, Jesus, I got too far inside the mind of a Trump supporter, and now I pulled part of it with me.
Well, now you see what it's like, I guess.
Well, I
So-
mean, I get the thing that freedom of thought is probably our most amazing gift, right? You and I could not have this show in China. I do understand
no.
that. We could have a different show, which is called I Agree With You.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all of that, mind of a Trump supporter being swept up with the crowd, and we can understand why somebody might do something they wouldn't ordinarily do. Heat of passion,
Okay.
right? So with our friend Ruxdale, accept or condemn or absolve.
Accept or condemn, and it's 3, 2,
1.
1.
Condemn.
Condemn.
Yes,
Yeah, pretty
that's
obviously.
easy. And for me, while I can understand getting swept up, and I can certainly understand making bad decisions, and I certainly understand regret, this reads very self-serving. Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm the CEO of a marketing company, and I'm in trouble, and I'm going to apologize. I shouldn't have flown 2,000 miles to march in an angry mob. Yeah.
What did he think he was going to do? I mean, what was he thinking?
What they
We'll
all
never
thought
know.
was going to happen, which was they were going to march into the Capitol, they were going to storm it, and everybody in America was going to cheer them on as patriots. They
Oh my
are
God.
heroes. They're the new Sam Adams, not the beer, but the president. I know you know that.
Yeah. All right. One more guy. We got 2 more guys to talk about.
Okay.
Derek Evans is another member of the seditious uprising. He faces federal charges for entering the Capitol with a mob, and he has resigned as a Republican first-time office holder in West Virginia's House of Delegates in a very nicely written letter saying, basically, I hereby resign effective immediately. In another statement, a little less short. He said, I take full responsibility for my actions and deeply regret any hurt, pain, or embarrassment I may have caused my family, friends, constituents, and fellow West Virginians. I hope this action I take today can remove any cloud of distraction from the state legislature so my colleagues can get to work in earnest building a brighter future for our state. And more importantly, I hope it helps to begin the healing process so we can all move forward and come together as one nation under God. Whatever. His federal charges stem from his involvement in the riot, which was captured in a Facebook Live video he took of himself as he entered the Capitol building during the riots and shouting, we're in, Derek Evans is in the Capitol. What an idiot.
I mean, these people shoot themselves in their own foot.
They so do. He has since deleted all his social media, and he and his attorney are now trying to portray him as being swept in by the crowd. But even if he were swept in by the crowd, why was he there? Was he just like having a snack at the Burrito Brothers, and the crowd came by and just picked him and his burrito up and dragged him through the Capitol?
Right.
And if so, then
you wouldn't
why
live
was
stream
he
that
screaming
event
with joy that he was in there?
No, yeah, it's clear, and this is the thing that just drives me crazy. It's when people lie. Okay, fine, everybody lies. I get that, right? Yeah. When you lie to my face, okay, fine, great. But then when you expect me to believe your stupid lie, and I don't, and you double down. I mean, come the fuck on.
Rude.
Dumb.
That's what I say.
Dumb. My IQ might be 99, but even I.
I'm not that dumb. All right, accept or condemn. 3, 2, 1.
Condemn.
Condemn. Oh, heartily condemn you, Derek Evans. Not sure why he's getting the brunt of my anger right now, but he is. So I think our final gentleman of the day is Josiah Colt, who is a former LDS missionary from Boise, Idaho. You might remember seeing him scaling the wall inside the Capitol Senate chamber, and he's wanted by Capitol Police now. His apology appears to be a backtrack from a number of videos that he had shared on Wednesday, in which he said he was tired of people stealing our freedom. One such video shows him gloating about taking part in the seditious activity and falsely stating that he sat in House Representative Nancy Pelosi's chair while calling her a traitor and a bitch. Colt, however, did not actually sit in Pelosi's chair because he stormed the Senate chamber, not the House of Representatives chamber.
Somebody who clearly knows government and what they're doing.
Right, exactly. I'm sure he understands all the nuances of government because he can't tell the Senate chamber from the House of Representatives. I'm just like every single one of those people that was marching, he said. A peaceful protest. We're here to represent America. We're tired of being lied to. We're tired of people stealing from us, stealing our freedom, stealing our liberties. I didn't hurt anybody in there, he said. He apologized in a statement to the local CBS News affiliate in Idaho, saying he had brought shame on myself. I love America. I love the people. I didn't hurt anyone, and I didn't cause any damage in the chamber. I got caught up in the moment, and when I saw the door to the chamber open, I walked in, hopped down, and sat on the chair. I said my piece, then I helped a gentleman get to safety that was injured, then left. While in the chamber, I told the other protesters that this is a sacred place and not to do any damage. Some of them wanted to trash the place and steal stuff, but I told them not to and to leave everything in its place. We're still on sacred ground. And I sincerely apologize to the American people. I recognize my actions that have brought shame upon myself, my family, my friends, and my beautiful country. In the moment, I thought I was doing the right thing. I realize now that my actions were inappropriate, and I beg for forgiveness from America and my home state of Idaho. My intention wasn't to put a stain on our great country's democratic process.
My biggest question about this is, what is it about people from Idaho apologizing to the state of Idaho? Larry Craig did the same thing.
They must love Idaho. There must be something big about it. I've never been there that I know of.
No, but
I think it must have something to do with their being Mormon and Idaho being a big Mormon state. Maybe it's all tied up in that.
It's, the heart of the Midwest, I think. So it's the seat of niceness. And there's just so much in here. The Idaho thing struck me because we just recently did Larry Craig, and I recalled that from his apology. But then within this, oh my gosh, he didn't do anything wrong. He accidentally just happened to find himself someplace. He said his piece, which he spells Peace.
I know.
And I'm not saying, oh my God, you're so stupid, you don't know which spelling to use for the word, but more, he's really trying to paint this picture of gentleness and kindness. And I think that's why he used that spelling for that word. And then he helps a gentleman get to safety who was injured.
Yeah.
And, oh, you hero. And you
What a good
reminded
guy.
everybody it's a sacred space and they shouldn't be doing anything. And
Be
all
good
you did
now.
was sit in a chair.
He has deleted his social media and is seeking legal advice.
It's odd to me that all these people who are so reliant upon social media for their radicalization end up deleting their accounts after they get caught.
Could it be that they have said things on their social media accounts that they don't want other people to know?
Could it be that the United States government doesn't have a way to like go into those deleted accounts and see what's been posted? I mean, I get you're saving yourself from media exposure or whatever, but I mean, it's all a little too late.
Yeah. Oh, do we accept or condemn Mr. Colt?
Oh, well, should we do a 3, 2, 1, or you just want to like
Yeah.
flat out? Okay.
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Condemn.
Big ol' condemn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Total. Even though you're from
Self-serving.
Idaho, which is starting to
I'm sure it's a
earn
lovely
a special place in my heart. Yeah. And what I feel for Josiah, though, he's a friend of his from high school was interviewed on TV. And you know shit's bad when they're scaring up people from your high school days to
Yeah,
talk
right?
about what was he like. Yeah.
What did he say?
Oh, so it was this girl, and basically she said she didn't really know him. She was just
No.
in the class with him, however big their school
He was
was or small.
quiet.
His big personality and outgoing. No, she wasn't surprised, but she was extremely surprised about the whole thing. She said, knowing him and what I remember of him, he is definitely the kind of person I can see being passionate about something. Sweet enough. And then she said, but it's 2021. What goes on the internet follows you forever. And she also mentioned that while everyone deserves forgiveness, there are consequences for your action. And I'm going to say that's probably a really good statement that helps me kind of like get my arms around this weird goofiness of like, what am I trying to say about all this? Because I don't want to just flat out condemn people without trying to understand their position, because I think that is part of the healing process. Now, saying all of that, this is something outside of that. I just don't even know what to do with it.
I don't know. I think understanding where people are coming from or understanding people's motives is of limited value, and you have to judge what they did and the impact of what they've done to judge them and to make a determination of how they should be rehabilitated or punished. That's my opinion.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's that thing of like, there are degrees, right? I have Trump supporting relatives. I love them. They're nice people. They like dogs. They like children. They bake cookies. But also, there's just some things we don't talk about so that I can have a relationship with them. And you know, could you argue, and I would, it's not really having a relationship with somebody that's,
Yeah.
you know, I have a biological connection and fond memories of these people who have always been kind to me. And then, and then it just starts to fall apart. Like, I don't see my relatives storming the Capitol, and I haven't spoken to them about this because I don't want to find out they support the insurrectionist.
I have a feeling at least some of my relatives do. And I'm not going to ask them about it either because there's nothing I can do except cut them out completely, which I basically already done.
And it's same-ish here, you know, Christmas and birthdays now. And yeah, and so I like Biden a lot. I like his message of unity. I like how he is not he's not biting Trump's bait.
Right. He's not. They're not having Twitter wars.
Not
thank
address
God.
right. There's no beautiful. There's no Twitter war between Biden
Yeah.
and Trump, right? And I want to get back to a place where the Nazis are quiet and not marching in the street. But then at the same time, we need to know that they're out there and we need to know what they're up to. And now we do. And so it's just this thing of like the conversation that you and I are having today this same conversation will be very different by next Friday, given all the bullshit that's going to happen Monday through Friday.
I hope something happens. I mean, I hope good things happen. I hope that Biden and his team are strong enough to do what needs to be done, and the folks that are currently in Congress are strong enough to do what needs to be done to end this and to end. Supposedly, this is going to happen again on the 17th. So that's
for sure.
I don't know when that is. That's like Sunday, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. What's today? The 10th. That's next Sunday. So what's going to happen on the 17th? Everybody better get their shit together and get the police and everyone prepared to defend the Capitol and whatever other targets, the state capitals, too, that are supposed to be targeted.
Yeah, it's not even defend democracy at this point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I, of all people, could not be more shocked that those words are coming out of my mouth, because I've always very much been the burn America down. Not literally, but
Right.
yeah, like anti-war, bleeding heart liberal, embarrassed.
Totally.
I don't own an American flag.
I mean, America has her flaws, God knows, perhaps more flaws than otherwise, but the solution is not to take over. The solution is not fascism.
And I think also acknowledging that America has flaws is patriotic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You can't fix a flaw if you don't know you have it.
Which I'm hopeful this insurrection has highlighted. Oh gosh, wow, look at these people, look at what misinformation has done to them. Look at what coddling lies and trying to pretend that there's some validity to both sides of an argument when the other side is nonsensical and a lie, right?
Yeah.
And also this idea of echo chambers. I remember, what was the presidential election where the Fox News viewers were so shocked that Obama won because everybody was convinced it was going to be Romney, and Carl. Yeah, it must have been 2012, maybe. But yeah, I guess it was. And one of he's super famous. And he's like a political.
Sean Hannity.
No. Carl, is it Karl Rove? I think it was Karl Rove.
Karl Rove.
Yeah. So Karl Rove had crunched a bunch of numbers on election night and was sitting there and got up and walked away and was like, this can't be right, on live television, and had to go back and relook at his numbers, because being in the Fox echo chamber, they were all so absolutely convinced that Romney was going to win. It wasn't even we hope he will, or we want him to. It was, he is going to win, because that's what we've been saying for the last couple of months.
I think it was the same this year with Trump. The Trump people were confident that Trump was going to win, and he kept saying, "Oh, I've got it in the bag. It's a landslide." And everyone, I don't know if it was Fox or wherever, maybe it was is it Parler?
Oh, the right wing version of Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. I think they were all, saying that he had won and he was going to win, and people were just shocked that he didn't win. So that's part of the reason that people can believe that there was that the election was stolen, because how could he possibly not have won?
And so when I say that I hear the same rhetoric on the right as on the left, I want to be real careful here that it's not necessarily the same rhetoric, But when Hillary lost, we did have this narrative of Russia. And of course, I'm going to say this is true. But I also recognize that I'm on the left, and my belief in that truth is just as strong as somebody's belief on the right. It's just I'm able to point at some things that are facts that are indisputable, and they're not able to point at facts that are indisputable. They are able to point at things people have said.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And so
I agree.
Yeah.
So the one thing I wanted to mention or wanted to read was a paragraph from Clark Cunningham, who's a law professor who teaches legal ethics at Georgia State. And he said, "I would say what all of them did that entered the Capitol is the serious federal felony of sedition. It's the domestic equivalent of treason. It wasn't a sit-in. They knew the Congress was convened to do perhaps the most important thing a Congress can do, preside over the peaceful transfer of power from one president to another. The mob went there to prevent that action," Cunningham said. So far, 55 people have been charged with crimes stemming from this seditious activity.
Wow, not enough.
Not enough. Should be thousands.
I mean, I don't even know how many people were
there.
Oh, sorry?
To arrest people as they should have been enough police there to arrest people as they walk through the doors.
I don't understand, while everybody's in the Capitol, you just don't get a bunch of police officers to make a great big giant circle around the Capitol, and you just don't let people leave.
How did they even get there in the first place? You can't just walk up the Capitol steps. There's police there. They stop you from doing that. How is that even allowed to happen? It's not open to the public. Not anymore. So anyway, I'm angry about the whole thing, obviously. And I don't think my anger will be resolved anytime soon.
No, and it's probably only going to become more unbelievable as the next few days unroll.
All right, so we're going to skip Who's Sorry Now this week, because we don't have any apologies that are really appropriate to the topic that we're under discussion. So I think this is a special episode, so we'll be going live on the 11th, Monday morning, and we'll have our regular episode go live next Wednesday.
On Wednesday,
Wednesday the 13th. So that one, TBD, the subject is TBD, but it'll be great. And then we'll go back to, I think, probably no more bonus episodes for a while, because all the holidays are over. And unless there are,
unless something fun happens,
something
right?
Devastating or fun happens that we want to talk about. So
let's go with fun, because it's a comedy show, right? Something really fun is going to happen, and we're going to feel the need to. And somebody will apologize for all the fun, and then it'll be appropriate for us to
discuss.
Talk about. I will say that, like, maybe in closing, I knew at some point we were going to be talking about Trump, and I knew at some point people would be apologizing for Trump-related activities. Mm-hmm. Never in my life did I think it would be members of the general public apologizing for insurrection in support of Donald Trump. I figured it was going to be Bill Barr apologizes for, his bullshit. Right. Or, some public figure somewhere. It tends to be the norm for us so far. Yeah. Just weird.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody in a few days. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And remember, we will always be here to accept your apologies.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, America.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.